The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Hello, I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we welcome you to Winning in Retirement. I'm a certified financial planner practitioner, and so is my co-host, Jeff Akers. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Brian. Good to see you.
You got that good, like a song, like you're singing good morning.
Oh.
Good.
Nobody wants to hear me sing.
Absolutely not. It's too early in the morning for that. Many people are out driving around and listening to some lovely Winning in Retirement radio, the Winning in Retirement radio show, where our goal is to give you information that you can use to help you prepare to win in retirement, or actually to win or to keep winning, to make sure you know you're doing the right things with the money that you're saving so hard for.
Yep. Do the right thing. And our goal today is to, help you stay on the road by not singing, but give you some good information so that you can indeed win in retirement.
All right. And Jeff's been working along with me 23 years, and he's a couple of days older than that, but generally all-around good guy and has a clue about what he's doing.
And Brian's known me my whole life because he is older than me. But he's also been at this for, 35 years, 37 years? What are you up to now?
Yeah, before you got out of school, back in the day.
A long time.
All right, you don't want to hear too much about that. But what you want to hear about is winning in retirement. How do you win in retirement? Well, today's topic is, what is an IRA? Things you don't know. So the concept is this. What is an IRA? Now, as you're driving, you might say, I know what one is. Well, we're going to start out with some basics, and I think you're going to bob in your head and go, yeah, I knew that. And then before the end of the show, you're going to be like, I didn't know that one.
There'll be something along the way, I'm pretty sure.
All right, imagine that we're going to save our money, and we're going to put our money away, and as we save our money, they're going to call it certain accounts. And we're going to try to explain what those accounts are and what is an IRA in today's show. So make sure you don't miss one bit of it. If you do miss, you can go to our website, AkersFinancialGroup.com. How you spell Akers, Jeff?
A-K-E-R-S.
Financialgroup.com. And on that website, you can hit a radio tab and find out more about a radio show, and also listen to past shows there, or available on all podcast networks.
Right, because there'll be some things that we talk about today that we're just touching on, but other shows actually covered it in more detail. So you can go back and see about those.
All right, Jeff, let's start with basics. What is an IRA?
An individual, so it can't be joint. Retirement, so it's for retirement. Arrangement.
Arrangement's not an account?
No, not according to the IRS and the law.
It's an arrangement. So that means it's not an account at a bank. It's not. I don't go buy an IRA from a bank. It's an actual title.
Right. So it's kind of funny because when you see an annuity that's an IRA, it'll say it's an individual retirement annuity. They try to take over the name. But it's technically, legally an arrangement, and that arrangement could be with a bank, but it can be with a mutual fund company, a brokerage firm, an annuity, all different kinds of things that could be inside that arrangement.
All right, so if you call something an IRA, right? What are the advantages? Why would it be an IRA?
Okay, so the IRA is for retirement, so that means you're going to put some money into it. You do get a tax break so long as you meet certain criteria. Yeah. You get a tax break for the money you put into it, and then it grows without having to pay any tax on that growth until you get into retirement, and then you can take it out. Now, because it's for retirement, if you try to take money out before you reach retirement age, 59 and a half, then there's most likely going to be a penalty. There are some exceptions, but there's a 10% tax penalty for taking money out early.
And one of the things we're going to try to cover is just a little bit that you have access to that money depending on the reason. I was getting ready to say the excuse. Yeah, I almost said the word excuse. Because what it is there are basically little boxes and different reasons you can withdraw money prior to 59 and a half if you needed it.
Right, and those reasons keep changing.
And then the new Secure Act 2.0 actually added a few more and added some hybrid emergency funds, all kinds of different options inside there.
But if you put money into an IRA with the intent of, I'm going to take it out before I retire, don't put it into an IRA for the most part.
All right. So the idea is financial planning is where you think about things and you plan ahead. And one of the things that you look at are what's available to you. And so many times at our work, we'll have a retirement plan. They might call it 401ks, 457, TSP, 403b, any of those names. And what happens is as you get ready for retirement, then there's the ability to keep the money in that plan or move it out to an IRA. And then there's this whole, what is the difference between qualified plan at my job versus an IRA? So the basics you covered so far is an individual retirement arrangement is it's yours.
Right.
And you have all the choice, the control, you pick how it's invested. An IRA doesn't mean it has to be only at a bank or only a CD. It's like a basket that you label IRA and you put anything you want in that basket. So an IRA is where you get to pick the choices, you get to pick the advisors, you get to pick, do you pay fees, not pay fees? Do you trade it? Do you not trade it? Do you have low risk, medium, high? You pick everything in an IRA. In a qualified plan, your employer, the trustees of that plan, narrow down all the choices and say, here's your choices, and that's all you have there.
Right. They give you the list, and you can pick from that short list. In an IRA, there is not a list like that. You can pick with an advisor. You can pick almost anything.
Right. So today we're using the word IRA as in we're using the word traditional IRA, which means that you're using a deduction now or putting money in after tax now, letting it grow tax deferred, but it would be taxable later.
Right. Yeah. Tax deferred. That just means you put off the tax, and sooner or later you're going to pay.
And we're not talking about Roth IRA. Later on, we're going to say you should have done a Roth IRA. But right now, the IRA, or the uses of an IRA, and why it makes sense for some people.
Yeah, and we have whole other shows about Roth IRAs, so look those up on the website.
Yeah. All right. So far, we talked about the basics of an IRA setup. So an IRA, someone comes in, wants to open an IRA. How does that happen?
Well, we've got to ask a lot of questions because I want to make sure that they qualify for a deduction. Do they qualify to make that contribution and get that deduction? I want to know how old they are because that's going to determine how much they're allowed to put in. Mm-hmm. I want to know how much they make at work because if they're not working or they don't have earned income, then they can't contribute to an IRA. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of questions that we start with. But as we go through the application process, we're going to need to know things like, okay, who are your beneficiaries? What happens if something happens to you? Right. Where do you want this money to go?
Yeah, so as simple as you can put money in an IRA. You can contribute to it. Mm-hmm. Now, you can contribute depending on your income, could be deductible, might not be deductible. Mm-hmm. If it's not deductible, then you are legally responsible to track that money you put in through your tax form every year under the 8606 form, so that when you pull it back out, you don't get taxed on it again.
For the rest of the life of that IRA.
Right. So it's something where if you do basically a non-deductible IRA, you really need to keep score of that through your tax return and on software, and always file an 8606 form. If you never heard of 8606 form, call our office and let us help you with that idea and why it's very important to track if you're doing a non-deductible IRA. Normally, the people doing that nowadays are people that make over the limit to put money into a Roth, and so they put money into to an IRA that's after tax.
Right, and then they'll convert it to the Roth. But again, that's a whole other show that we've done.
That's a backdoor IRA. All right, so we're trying to keep things simple. What is an IRA? And things people don't know. So we're starting with the basics idea is this. IRA, individual retirement account, and how does that compare to a qualified plan? So what's the difference basically, Jeff?
So the qualified plan through work, it's tied to work.
Okay.
The individual retirement arrangement, it's individual. It's not tied to any job. It's yours.
Sure.
You can do with it what you want. You take it where you want. You invest in what you want.
Now, through work, the big advantages for having money through your employer, what kind of advantages are that?
Well, while you're working and you're contributing, sometimes the employer gives a match. That's a big advantage.
That's wonderful. That's free money. We like free money.
Yes, we love the free money.
So maximize a match if they offer it.
That's right.
Don't not. I've had people come in, I couldn't afford to get the match. It's like, well, why not? Let's figure it out. If they're going to give you 2-3% of your pay and you're not getting it, why? Let's figure that out.
Right. It's very hard to say I can't afford to get a pay raise, and doing the contribution get you a pay raise.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, that's an important thing. Another thing is every investment has some costs associated with it, And sometimes on a 401k or an employer-sponsored plan, the employer pays some of those costs for you. Not
Absolutely.
always, but sometimes.
Yeah, the bigger the company, they usually pay it. The hardest part would be is some of the hidden fees if they choose outside managers, and they might put you automatically into a managed portfolio without you really knowing about it. And before you know it, you're paying fees for that. And then there's internal fees of mutual funds, sub-accounts. There's fees a little bit everywhere depending on what's going on. But in a 401k plan, usually there's not an advisor involved, or for TSP, it's you dealing with the company and figuring it out on your own. Now, what you'll find is as you retire, a lot of advisors want you to move to an IRA.
Yeah.
And they want you to move to IRA because when they bring that money over, they manage it, and then that's how they make their money, helping you by managing your money at that time.
Right. So, yeah, the employer-sponsored plan, again, the employer is picking the investments for you that you can then choose from. Sometimes Brian was talking about sort of an automatic enrollment that some plans set up, and they automatically put you into a certain investment, and you don't even know that you signed up for a 401k.
And that's going to become more regular over 2024, 2025, as new laws happen where we're automatically enrolled into plans, especially for companies that do not offer plans yet.
It is good to save for retirement, so I don't want to diss that.
Yeah, but once you get the money there, and then you have choices later, especially as you leave jobs. What we're going to talk about throughout the show is all the advantages of company plans, and then the IRA, the differences, and try to explain it all. There's a lot of information there. The other advantage of the qualified plan is the ability to possibly borrow your money there. Just a lot of choices. So what happens is this. At Acres Financial Group, we want to sit down and talk to you and try to be your coach, your advisor, and then we help you with what you need help with. And what that means is this, that we help exactly where you are. Whatever the investments are, there's ways for us to try to help you, and we try to design that fits your risk tolerance and goals. Acres Financial Group, we're local, we're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We do have offices in Lutherville and Forest Hill and clients all around the country, even some around the world. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You can give us a call for a free consultation with one of our team of advisors. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. There is a tax for checking the wrong box. We'll explain when we come back right after this break.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Hey, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers, both certified financial planner practitioners from Acres Financial Group. That's right here in Maryland. We do work with people all around this area. And as you stretch out to multiple states, our clients move and we get to deal with them no matter where they are. Today's show we put together is pretty simple. The idea and the question is, what is an IRA? And then we're going to try to cover some very important things, such as things you don't know. And so we first quarter took it easy on you. We gave you some light learning.
Right. That was light learning before we get into the real meat of stuff.
Well, the idea is this, IRA. Not everyone knows what an IRA is, and then they get confused in their wording and say, well, I'm going to go buy an IRA. I need an IRA. Where do I get an IRA? Where do I find one? And understanding that they're a title of an investment account. It could be at a bank, an investment firm, brokerage firm. It could be a mutual fund. Could be through an annuity. IRAs are held as a custodian where the title is IRA.
Right. Now, you might be hearing this word on the radio today and thinking, oh, that sounds good. I need to go get one of those. Well, I encourage you, come see us. Let us walk through what it is and make sure that it's the right thing and the best thing for you. And as we talked about in the first quarter, that you qualify to make the contribution and get the deduction, or is there something better that we could do?
Absolutely. Now, this quarter, we're going to start with this hard question. There is a tax for checking the wrong box. Have you heard of that, Jeff?
That is some box.
Yeah.
You get taxed just for checking it.
Well, can you explain what we mean by this concept?
So let's say that you have an employer plan and you're going to take the money out of that employer plan. When you do that, they'll ask you, do you want to take this out as a lump sum cash to you, or do you want to roll it over to an IRA? And if you check the box, I just want a lump sum, send the cash. Well, now there's mandatory taxation, 20%. So that's the tax for checking the wrong box. And then they'll send you a check for the rest of it.
Just send me the money. I'll put it in my IRA later.
Right.
And so the person on the line sends them the money, and it's 20% light.
Yeah, but there is something called a direct rollover where you can have that employer plan send it directly to your IRA. There's never a check made payable to you. It's made payable to the new IRA, the custodian of that IRA. And by doing that, you avoid the tax. It's still reported. You get a 1099-R, but it's reported as a direct rollover, not taxable. That's important. We want not taxable. So if you check the wrong box, you get to pay 20% to Uncle Sam just for kicks. And if you check the right box, you don't pay anything in tax until you take it out of that IRA.
Doing the paperwork properly saves you a lot of money. There's a case we've heard of where this person checked the wrong box on a very large takeover of the account.
Yes.
That was like $500,000 rollover that they did the paperwork on their own.
Yeah.
And they ended up, the hard part is the rules go like this. So if you do a direct rollover, that's nice, and the money goes basically tax deferred, and there's nothing on your tax return, you don't pay anything. But if you say, send me the money, and you pick the wrong box on the paperwork, they'll send you the money light, the 20%. Right. On $500,000, that's $100,000. And then what happens is that you get that check, and you're like, what can I do? And the plan wouldn't undo it, because we tried. It wasn't us. It was another advisor.
Yeah, we heard about it years ago.
Yeah. So the one thing is you really can't, they usually don't take the money back, so you have to keep it. And then you have a choice. Do you want to pay tax on what? So you can roll over the $400,000 check you receive to an IRA. You have 60 days to do that, and not pay tax. But then the $100,000 that was sent to the IRS, you don't have that $100,000 to roll over.
Right. So you pay tax on that part. Right.
So you got to pay tax on the money they withheld for tax. Or, like in this case, the person took a home equity loan to roll over the whole $500,000 over.
Right.
And then they got all their tax money back the next April.
And paid off the home equity then.
Yeah, then they lost the interest for that year.
Right. So it's important. Checking the wrong box, yes, it can cost you tax money, but it's also a headache. And it's a headache that you don't want to have. So let us help you through the process. Avoid the headache, avoid the tax.
Oh, man, I keep going breathing heavy over this one, because people come in, brand new clients, and they'll say, oh, this person passed away, and I'm inheriting an IRA, and I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And then the comment is, oh, they sent me the money. Yeah. And I'm like, what? You already did that without talking to us first? What happened? Well, the broker just sent me the money. And so I said, well, that's all taxable this year. Oh, that's okay. That's going to raise your tax brackets. Really? What does that mean? Right. And there's a lot of ramifications of making quick decisions on IRAs. If you're a beneficiary of an IRA, or if you roll over an IRA, all very important to understand what you own, so you can make sure it travels the right path. There's company plans where we can save into a Roth. So when you retire, your IRA gets split. The money goes into an IRA for anything that was pre-tax. The Roth needs to go to a Roth IRA. You got to do the paperwork right. And that's what financial advisors help you do that if you're pulling your money out. Right.
So take advantage of us. Give us a call and let us help you walk through that so that we don't end up paying a tax for checking the wrong box.
Now, years ago, you used to have this rule called IRA rollover. You'd have to label the account IRA rollover, because only rollover accounts had the ability to actually go back into a 401k.
Right. Yeah, Brian mentioned earlier that one thing about a company plan is sometimes you can take a loan from it. Well, an IRA is something that you can't take a loan from.
Right.
So if you roll something over to an IRA, sometimes you might want to put it back into a company plan so that then you could take a loan from it while you're still working. So that's just a reason that you might want to have it labeled rollover IRA.
And that's the way it used to be.
Right.
But now we can actually take any IRAs back to a qualified plan if the plan accepts it.
Okay, so it's up to the place where you work, that plan, will they accept a rollover back into the plan?
Now, the reality is this, is that most loans inside a qualified plan are limited at $50,000. So that means you wouldn't want to roll a couple $100,000 back in just to borrow 50. You only have to have about 100 in there to get 50 out. Then the idea you'd actually pay back after tax. The reason we would be against that is because the money is not actively invested during that period of time. You're putting that money back in out of your paycheck. But sometimes that is the only way to get access to cash to do things in life, and you might have to do it.
Right. It's an opportunity loss for that money that's not invested, but sometimes it's just what has to be done.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the availability of cash to do things. Especially like buying a rental property or doing other things. People will do that and use that as part of their lending.
Right.
Now, 401k plans do count as a residual or a holdings plot for money. Whenever you apply for a loan that you have money in a 401k, it means that you have some accessible cash if you had to get it.
So you have access to something, yeah.
So this IRA versus qualified plan, we've talked about the advantages of the qualified plan being that the company pays the fees. There's actually no advisor attached to it, so usually no commission or stuff unless it's hidden inside the plan.
Right.
Because someone's getting paid to provide the services.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
And those fees are getting paid by the employees or the employer or a hidden combination.
Yeah, some mix of the two.
Well, there's always fees inside things. If you never heard of it before, people don't do things for free.
Right.
If they say it's free or add a third free, it's really
free.
Yeah, it's no longer that way.
No.
Well, the reality is this: is they get paid somewhere, and the answer is you got to disclose all that. So whenever you are considering moving from a qualified plan to an IRA, your advisor and brokers and people have to now fill out forms, and these forms are a requirement to try to explain the reasons why they need to change.
Right. What makes the IRA better than the 401k? There needs to be a good, sound reason for it. And there are several.
What's the name of that form?
I just call it a quack. But
quack.
It's Qualified Account Comparison Form.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. Yeah. I wasn't going to leave you hanging for long enough. It's the quack form. But qualified comparison, what happens there is you look at the plan you have and you compare it to the thing being offered. You should do that anyway. It's the old school pros and cons sheet.
Right.
Like, what's the pro of keeping it there? What's the con? What's the bad thing about leaving it there? What's the advantage of moving money? is there an advantage? And what we're going to do is cover some of those ideas. Normally, when you add an advisor that's taking your situation and doing planning, all of a sudden you hired a coach.
Right.
And that coach can charge planning fees by the hour. They can charge a set fee per year. Or they might make money off of the assets under management and not charge the other side.
Right, just to have the investments.
Right, and so the idea would be the relationship and having a financial advisor. Of course, we think that's a good idea.
Naturally.
Because we have to be financial advisors.
That is true, but my number one reason for thinking that it's a good idea or can be a good idea is the choice. We talked earlier about the choices that you have in an IRA versus what you have inside a 401k. There might be certain types of investments, something that you want to have maybe to protect your principal, and you just don't have any good choices inside the 401k. Well, in an IRA, we can get a lot better choices for that. And so that would be a reason, and I believe a compelling reason, to initiate that rollover and have some better investment vehicles to use for you.
The most upsetting thing inside of retirement plans through employers is no zero risk accounts. Years ago, there used to be fixed options inside. Guaranteed contracts were inside the 401ks, which would pay 4%, 5%, 6%, almost like a 401k CD. And that's disappeared.
Right.
That's not even an option. We have a money market option as the only zero risk inside of a qualified plan.
Right. And we all know what money markets are making.
Well, some are better now than they used to be. But the idea is that when people want to reduce their risk, then they got to take advantage of everything that's out there, especially options when it comes to when you turn 59 and a half, you have options of moving money out called an in-service withdrawal, which is for a future quarter.
Yeah.
But as we close here in the second quarter, our topic this quarter was about checking the right box to make sure the rollovers occur the proper way. At Acres Financial Group, everything is going to be about you, and that's why we recommend this idea of coaching and advising, have someone guide you through these situations. We start with a financial fingerprint, which is about you and your situation and deciding if it's the right thing or not. You can be advice through planning fees, or you can have money managed. Having this independent advisor guide you through these decisions are very, very wise. At Acres Financial Group, we want that retirement money to follow your goals, to be what you want it to be. It's not about us, it's all about you. So go ahead and give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE and schedule an in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-946-7384, or go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com. At what ages must you begin withdrawing from your retirement plans? We'll explain when Winning in Retirement returns.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and here with me today is Jeff Akers, also from Akers Financial Group. I'm certified financial planner practitioners, and here as co-host on Akers Financial's Winning in Retirement. Jeff, you're laughing at me before I get the words out of my mouth.
Well, Akers comes out so much because we have the same last name, so it's like Akers this, Akers that, Akers.
Years ago, I was designing the name of the company. I'm thinking, well, do we really want to name it Akers? Maybe we want to name it something different.
No, but it was the two of us, and I'm good with it being Akers.
Yeah, but it's no longer two of us. We have about 22 people as part of the financial group, a bunch of CFPs and paraplanners, operations, all kinds of wonderful people work at Acres Financial Group to take care of our clients. The design of Acres Financial Group is truly to take your need, design in a plan, and then follow through with that. Not just something where you do one thing at one time, but it's a follow-through up to you retire and throughout all those retirement years, the good years and the bad years. The reason we want to do this show today called What is an IRA? Things You Don't Know, is because clients come in and they ask questions. Even our most sophisticated clients come in. I had a client in a big blue truck. He came in one day. I'm thinking he's very sophisticated. And he goes, "What's this IRA you're trying to put me into?" I was like, okay, you don't know what an IRA is? And so we had to do a real basic talk of what an IRA is and to make them feel comfortable.
Or he could have listened to the first quarter.
Well, we didn't cover out everything. Imagine that an IRA, people worry about this whole FDIC, the whole risk level. And so an IRA, does it have FDIC? What kind of rules tie with it?
Yeah, the IRA doesn't on its own have FDIC insurance. It depends on what you're investing in that IRA.
Right. Just like we're trying to say earlier, the IRA is a basket. It's a title of the account. Mm-hmm. What goes in the basket, what you buy with the IRA money gives you the guarantee or not the guarantee.
Right.
So if you buy something through a bank, then it's FDIC up to a certain limit.
Right. It's kind of like saying my joint, is that FDIC insured? Well, your house is probably owned jointly. Mm-hmm. That's not FDIC insured.
Right.
But your checking account's at a bank. Mm-hmm. And that's joint. That is FDIC insured. So it's just what's invested inside that account.
Just because I enjoy this game, a trick question for you. Jeff, do you know the following?
Uh-oh.
If you have an IRA,
okay,
and let's say it's you and your wife, and then you have contingents being let's say you had two boys.
So my primary beneficiary is my wife.
Yeah, and then two contingents. What's your FDIC limit?
Oh, man, you're going to throw in the beneficiaries. So $250,000 per person, per bank, and I believe it's only the first beneficiary, the primary beneficiary, that gets another $250,000. Now you're up to $500,000.
Right. So the answer is that's absolutely true when it comes to the FDIC. Is that
you just like throwing trick questions at me?
Yeah. The hard part is when you add trust, you add another level where every beneficiary counts. So depends on how you want to do things. But FDIC, there's a website, FDIC.gov, and explains all the different setups, 7 different ways of setting up FDIC to have coverage for you and your family from bank failure, things like that.
Right. They have like a whole brochure that you can download, I think.
Right. And so memorizing that's always a fun thing. Actually, it's not a fun thing.
It'll help you go to sleep at night.
But the reason people might consider that now is interest rates started to move up, and so they look at that. The hard part is that when inflation's roaring, interest rates that go from 3 to 4 isn't going to keep up with inflation no matter what. When inflation was 3 and it earned 0, you have the same differential between inflation and real rate of return. Right. It's hard. So when we're talking about IRAs, what's an IRA? And understanding the account being set up, what you got to understand is like, well, if you have the account at a brokerage firm, that's a custodian. That custodian is going to be in charge of reporting to the IRS. They report to the IRS withdrawals called 1099s, and then in May they send the value of the IRA out.
Oh, on the 5498.
5498 form, exactly
there
right.
Go.
What's on that kind of form that goes out every May?
So 5498 is going to tell you the December 31st fair market value of your IRA. And that's an important number because when you do have to take money out, and when I say have to, I mean required minimum distribution, it's based on that number. So that's an important number to know.
Right. So when you get that notice in May and it says important tax information, it's just a report showing values, showing contributions and withdrawals all in a summary. It's like a summary report the IRS can then use later to come back and check to see if you took the withdrawals properly. And so the question for this quarter is, what ages must you begin withdrawing from retirement plans or from IRAs?
Man, that used to be so simple.
Yeah.
It was when you were 70 and a half, and then they raised it to 72, and now they've raised it to 73. And
I had a lady yesterday. I've had the RMD talk 3 times.
Yep.
Next year, you're going to have to take money out. Yes. She was 70 and a half. They moved it to 72.
I've had the same conversation.
So last year, I was saying this next year, 2023, your first year, we're going to have to turn things on, start taking money out, pay more taxes. And then she came in this year, and I'm like, next year, 2023, she turned 73. And under the Secure Act 2.0, RMD, required minimum distributions for qualified plans at your work and for IRAs, you have to start taking money out when you're 73. The year you turn 73, you have the first year, you have from January 1st that year all the way through April 15th or so.
Right. Of the following
year to take your first withdrawal. We don't recommend postponing unless there's some weird case where it works out well tax-wise.
Right. But that would be a very special case because after that, you don't have that extra 3.5 months to take money out. So you've got to take it out by December 31st. So if you put off your first one and then you've got to take your second one, you end up with 2 required distributions in the same year, all taxable at once.
Right. So let's say you have 401k plan and you have an IRA, you have to actually do RMDs from all your qualified plans, 401k, TSPs, and an RMD out of your IRAs. You have to do 2 separate. You can't just pick whichever investment's paying the least, but you have to pick and take it out of each custodian.
Yeah, there's a wall between individual and employer-sponsored.
Right.
So the employer-sponsored stuff, every account stands on its own. You got to take its RMD from that account. In your IRAs, you could have 3 or 4 different IRAs, and you could take your required distribution for those IRAs from any one of them if you wanted to, or you could divide it up and take it across all of them. But you've got choices.
What's interesting is that because of changes in laws, people can actually contribute to the 401k beyond the age of 70 and a half now. They can keep contributing money in a company that they don't own. And if they don't own, the company plan could actually allow you not to take an RMD until later by you keep actively working.
Right. That's part of the plan document. So you need to get in touch with your HR to find out if that's the case for you.
So just remember on this quarter, am I turning 73 this year? If you are, then you got to say, do I have to take a withdrawal or not? You got to plan that out.
If you're turning 73 this year, that means you turned 72 last year and you already had to take one.
Oh, trick question.
Yeah.
You got me on that one.
Yeah. But next year, when you turn 73, you'll be having to take one.
Now, the nice thing is if you're younger, if you're born 1960 or later, you can wait to 75.
Yep. That starts in 2033 is where that turns out to be.
Around that time.
Yeah, 2033.
That's
what I wrote down.
It's okay. The idea is this. An IRA, individual retirement account, is a simple account. Everything else to deal with it is not quite as simple. How you use the money, when do you take withdrawals, when do you pay the tax, how do you work this out? Very complex. It's basically like knowing the rules of a game. So we want you to win in retirement. The game, retirement, winning means that you have your money and you're doing the things you want to do. But the rules of the game have been changing every year or two.
Right. And it's the job of the coach to help you with those rules so that you don't break any or misuse any.
But you take advantage of the rules and how they should apply to you to pay the least amount of tax that you have to pay. Pay the right portion. We're not saying not pay at all. We're supporting paying tax, but not paying extra.
Right. Yeah. Pay what is required, but if there's a way to reduce your tax impact, then that means more money in your pocket.
One of the biggest reasons people should move money from a qualified plan like a 401k, 403b, TSP, 457, I'm trying to think of simple, all the ideas, is that if you move it to an IRA, only in an IRA under current law can you actually give your RMD to a charity through something called a qualified charitable distribution. Yep. So if you're charitably inclined and you don't really want to pay tax on that IRA money, you don't really have to have it for your monthly bills. There's this whole idea of charitable giving with your RMDs, and it only can be done out of IRAs.
Right, and it is such an advantage because it counts as the required distribution, so there's not going to be a penalty because you missed it, but it's not taxable. And depending on your income, overall income situation, that can mean that the amount of your Social Security that gets taxed can go down. It means a lot of other things can not hit you that would have hit you if you took that RMD as cash to yourself.
Okay, so qualified charitable distributions was the topic there. You can always call our office and we can get you information on QCDs so you can understand what it is and how to apply it. You have to be 70 and a half before you can start using your IRAs for charity. You cannot do it before that.
Right.
You can do it after that. And then there's an upward limit of $100,000 that each person could give per year out of their retirement accounts if they wanted to.
Right. Yeah, I've had folks that wanted to do that, wanted to give that full $100,000 to a charity.
Absolutely. Those are people that have been great savers. When you're a great saver, you have choices and you've had a control over your assets and built them over the years, all wonderful things. And an IRA, because you have so many choices, they have another choice of you can actually defer and give some of it to a charity direct. You don't get the deduction off your tax return, but you get it. You take the income, you bring the income down, which allows you to do other tax planning, which can be just a great thing when trying to deal with all the tax planning options that are out there.
Right. And so it's a tool that we like to use, and it is another reason that you might want to roll over from an employer plan.
Absolutely. So at what ages must you begin withdrawing from your retirement plan? The answer is 73 right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, 73. All right. The best part of retirement is getting your time back. You decide how to use it. Before retirement, your time is tied up with other commitments, mainly your job. A lot of that goes away in retirement. Your time is now consumed by things that you want to do, or at least your wife wants to do. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. Go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com, scroll to the Schedule a Meeting section, and let us know you'd like to schedule your free consultation with one of our team of advisors. That's acresfinancialgroup.com, or give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Who is your partner in your retirement plans? The answer might surprise you. We'll explain in a moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome to the fourth quarter of Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, president and founder of Akers Financial Group. Here with me today is Vice President Jeff Akers. We're both certified financial planners from Akers Financial Group offices in Lutherville and Forest Hill. And we've been around for a couple of years, right, Jeff?
We've been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, Jeff's been working along my side for about 23 years.
Yeah.
And I've been, against that later 80s is when I first started as an assistant and then moved up from there.
Right. Worked his way up. So he's got some experience.
Well, the idea that I've always believed in when it comes to financial services is that you got to do planning to get to the answer that's right for the client. In my earlier life, that was sort of an unknown concept to people. Most financial services was all about selling a product. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about designing the right plan. The neatest thing about the financial industry is that it has moved to where they're trying to enforce something called best interest. What's the best thing for people?
Right.
So when we start talking about this topic we have today, what is an IRA? What is the best thing for people between their retirement plan at work or IRA on their own? Is part of that what is the best interest for that client? And you need to know why it makes any sense for you to move from a retirement plan to an IRA. And is it right for you? Not just that it's right for the advisor or broker, but is it right for you? You got to understand the costs of changing and the lower costs of staying, those kind of things.
Right. And so one of the important things is Brian mentioned that we do planning. Mm-hmm. Planning determines the investments, not the other way around. So we want to do the planning first.
Right. So when we talk about the fourth quarter is a winning time when you really got to shut down on defense, or you got to at least pretend to play better defense. Or in basketball, you rebound a little better. You go after the loose ball a little bit better.
You fight harder.
Yeah, you try to. You try to actually make the shot that you need to win. It's helpful too. The idea is this quarter is, who is your partner in your retirement funds? Now, financial advisors, when they're advising, they're going to have a fee. So it's a little bit of partnership. Yeah. But there's a partner that's bigger. Yeah. That wants to share in a lot more.
Right.
Who could that be, Jeff? Well, think about it. Who could it be?
I'm going to go with the government.
The government.
And I'm not going to just say federal government because we're in Maryland, and so the state government wants a little piece too.
And piece out of IRAs.
Yes.
All right.
That is correct. So we've talked about IRAs being tax deferred. Mm-hmm. Well, when we get to the point where we're taking money out, last quarter we talked about when you're required to take it out.
Right.
The IRS doesn't require you to take money out of your IRA because they think you need the money. They require you to take it out so that they can get paid taxes.
Absolutely.
And so that's the point where they've been a silent partner so far, and now they come in and say, okay, time to pay me.
Because the idea is this, you defer money and then you let it grow. And if you start early and young, like we highly recommend, and as you're preparing to win in retirement, you save, you grow that money. All that growth is tax deferred. The concept when 401ks came out was, hey, you're going to be at a lower tax bracket in retirement. Right. It's going to be okay.
Right.
And the problem is, you're not.
Right. Yeah, there's a way to be in a lower tax bracket, which involves having less income and a lower standard of living. Our clients don't want that.
They want to maintain the lifestyle they've gotten used to.
Right.
And sometimes more, especially in those let's get going years,
Right. Yeah, the go-go years. And on top of that, tax rates are going up. They're going to go up in a couple of years.
Right, in 2026. So we got a 3-year window before, by law, the federal tax rates jump up because of the sunsetting of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. But there will be other aspects where we believe there will raise tax rates in the future.
Right. That's just the part we know about. Mm-hmm. Then there's the part that Congress can pass whatever Congress wants to pass.
One of the most upsetting tax increases occurs when someone passes away. There's a husband and wife, they file jointly, and then all of a sudden they file single the very next year, and they understand that, wow, if I make the same amount of money, I jumped a bracket.
Right.
Because the brackets get cut in half.
Yeah, you could jump a whole bracket. You could jump potentially even more than one whole bracket.
Right. So understanding tax law and understanding this partner. The reason we call it a partner, imagine that you have money in your retirement account and you want to buy a car, something simple. What price car you want to buy this time?
Yeah, well, years ago I would have said $40,000, but now they're even more than that. But we'll stick with $40,000. I want a $40,000 car.
All right, so you're buying a used 1990 car? No.
Yeah. So Brian, I've got an IRA. I need you to send me money. I need that $40,000 so I can buy the car. The guy said he'd hold it for me until next week.
All right, and I say, do we have any money saved for this? Did we open up that mutual fund to save for your next car? No. We really got to take it out of the only fund we have, which is our retirement money.
Right, my IRA. I got $100,000 in there. Send me my money.
Yeah, and so to send you the money to get you 40, I got to do my little calculation and go, all right, I need a copy of your tax return.
Oh, see what bracket I'm in. Okay, I'll tell you I'm in the 22% tax bracket.
All right, so 22% federal, and then we're going to add Maryland on there because, IRAs are taxable in Maryland. So
Okay.
that gets up to 30% tax rate. So we take the $40,000, we divide it by 0.7, we come up with an amazing $57,142 is the gross withdrawal. So I'm taking more than your $100,000 account, more than half of it to get you the 40.
So you mean your $17,000 is going to the government?
Yeah, the partner.
Oh, man. And then I got to pay tax on the car.
Yeah, that's for the right of owning it.
Daggone.
Another 6% there. But the idea would be this, is that planning ahead to buy a car, it would be I have my withdrawal, my income's coming in, I'm paying, maybe I was able to stay under that bracket and only pay 12, or instead of paying 32, I got it down to 24, whatever the bracket play you're trying to work on. And then you save that money, and then when it's time, it's already there. That's what we prefer in the perfect planning world.
Right.
That's not normal.
Right. We talk about different legs that we can have money invested in. And the IRA leg is one, and a lot of times it's the only one. It's the biggest one. But having that kind of non-qualified leg that we can use for the car purchase comes in handy.
I mean, I had this call, actually, it sounds like I've been busy this week, but I had this call this week where they want to buy a house. It's one of those clients that did the RV life for 4 years, and now they're ready to settle down, want to buy a house.
Okay.
And are you going to sell the RV? No, we'll keep that too. Okay, well, we're going to use to buy the house. Oh, we're going to use the IRA money.
Oh,
really? Okay. How much you want? And like $100,000. It's like, okay. So I have to have the conversation of, how about no? How about we take the money out over 3 years, level the taxes out, smooth it out so we pay less tax, and then you might have a little higher loan for a little while, and then you can redo your home loan called recasting, and they'll lower the payment down once we pay less tax, because this extra tax bugs me. I don't like giving more money to taxes than we have to.
Right. $100,000 is going to jump your bracket. Mm-hmm. So you're going to pay extra tax if you do that. So we do like the idea of spreading income out over time. Sometimes that means you see required minimum distribution age coming. You see 73 on the horizon. Well, let's go ahead and take a little money now to start leveling our taxes going forward.
Plan
ahead.
Yeah, so having a coach that helps you into retirement, helps you win in retirement, is what we're trying to get across. Now, there's lots of things out there about the hottest stock, the hottest investment, you need to buy this best interest rate. All of those things matter once you get past the reason why. You need to know why. And so the Acres Financial way of doing things is, what is your reason why? What is the purpose behind anything that you're doing? What are you preparing to do? What are you looking forward to do? Are you setting money aside? Are we laddering money to come due when we need it? And then we pay lower tax over time because we've planned ahead.
Right. So planning is what we do. That's why we want you to give us a call so we can help you walk through what's the best plan for you to minimize your taxes. We might not get away from it entirely, but let's at least not pay more than we have to.
Yeah, so when I do a show like this, what's an IRA, things you might not know, that kind of stuff, there's lots of little rules on withdrawals. There's lots of rules for beneficiaries, and we divide that into all kinds of other shows. But the bottom line premise is this, is when you get to right when you're ready to retire and you're ready to start winning in retirement and being in retirement, that's a great time to be there. But the more time you had to prepare for retirement, the more you can do something totally different and not do an IRA. What's an IRA? A regular IRA usually means taxes to you in your later years. The word Roth IRA. Yes, it's an individual retirement account, but when you add the word Roth to it, what you're doing is changing the future taxation, and it's something that everyone needs to think about how they can incorporate Roth into their plan. A Roth IRA, younger years, to me is the only thing we should be doing.
Yes.
Pay tax now and never again. So the IRA concept is what we have to do, and how we work with money, how we then take withdrawals and go with all these rules, cause of taxation. We can avoid all those issues by going tax-free from the moment we deposit.
Yeah, so we've got this idea of different buckets that we can put money into for retirement. We want to put money in the right buckets as we go. And a Roth IRA, like you said, for the younger folks is just phenomenal.
Roth IRA for younger makes perfect sense, almost like no-brainer. The word younger, I would say if you're going to retire in 5 or 6 years, then you're young. In this case, in that case,
there's still time.
There's still time. If you are retired, a Roth IRA is not off limits for you. You can still do things. Roth IRAs, if you're working that part-time job, you can contribute to it.
Yep.
I mean, you take money out of a taxable account, like a bank, and you can put it into a Roth IRA, and it be growing tax-free.
Never taxed again.
Never taxed again is amazing concept to do. So when we have our IRA show, what is an IRA? And you learn all these rules, like, oh, look, all these things I got to think about. Imagine not thinking about it over my lifetime, I funded my Roth.
Right. I funded my Roth. And as you're approaching, we talked before about approaching RMD age, maybe start taking some money out. Well, maybe you take it out of that going to be tax bucket and go ahead and put it into the never taxed again bucket. You can do that.
Absolutely. It's called a Roth conversion. Conversions, contributions are all cool stuff that you have to really pay attention to. So you pay the least amount of tax when you need to use that money later in life, because someone's going to pay that tax, you or your beneficiary. Yep. So what's an IRA? IRA is individual retirement what? Arrangement with the IRS, where they become partners in your taxes, right?
Yes, they are signing some sort of business deal with you there.
Yeah, so we do thank you for listening to our rambling and our focused rambling on IRA, understanding that there's no way we can cover everything in one show. We want you to win in retirement. So the thing we offer everyone is an opportunity to meet with one of our team of advisors to talk about your exact situation. So schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors. Go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com. Scroll to the schedule a meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's acresfinancialgroup.com. Or you can give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or give us a call at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Akers Financial Group offers securities through Archedios Capital, an SIPC and FINRA member firm. Advisory services are provided through Archedios Wealth. Akers Financial Group and Archedios do not share any common ownership. Neither Archedios nor Akers Financial Group provides tax or legal advice. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, and or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment. Examples and scenarios shared are meant to be for illustrative purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.